The senator has arrived, so we're going to ask everybody if you'd like to get some lunch, find a place to sit, and we'll start the program. If I could get everyone's attention, we're going to, I want to let you first know there's plenty of food, so go get some more food. Can't take doggy bags with you. That's my job. So let me first welcome everyone here to Laurel Municipal Center. I want to thank Senator Cardin for being here. And as you continue to eat, let me just acknowledge a few people that are here from our elected officials. Our Council President, Donna Crary. Our Council Member, Fred Smalls. Ed Works, Council Member from Ward 1. Valerie Nicholas from Ward 1, our Council Member. And Mike Les, our Council Member at Large. Let me also acknowledge and thank her for being here as well. Jay Davis is our President of the Maryland Municipal League and the Mayor of Greenbelt. Thank you, Jay. Delegate Barbara Frush is with us as well. I want to thank Barbara. And just a couple former elected officials, former Mayor Bob DiPietro, Robert DiPietro's here. Former Anne Arundel County Executive Janet Owens. Former County Executive Wayne Curry. And our old, as I always say, hometown boy, hometown man, excuse me, C. Philip Nichols, our judge for the Circuit Court of Prince George's County. And just one other, John Alexander. John, stand up, because John does our workforce at the federal level for the city of Laurel. Thank you for being here. We have several presentations we're going to do today. I've asked a couple people to come up and speak. We're going to get on a bus. Not all of us, excuse me. Several of us are going to get on a bus. We're going to go visit a few sites down on Main Street. We're going to talk about what's happening in the city of Laurel with the senator, as well as the new town center. Can we get an applause? As I was sweating to death over at the groundbreaking the other day, I said I was 14 years old when they started this, so you can see I've gotten a little old since then. But I'm glad it's moving along very, very nicely. With that said, the hospital, Laurel Hospital, Regional Hospital, is a very important piece of the Laurel community, and I wanted the senator to hear, and I wanted the judge to come up and talk a little bit about the Laurel Regional Hospital. So, Judge, if you come on up and talk about our system and how important it is to local government and as well as the business community.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Senator. It's really good to be here and see so many good friends and meet a few new ones. And I'd also like to thank the 12 citizens of Prince George's County who were on jury duty this morning. You reached a verdict at 11:05 a.m. and made me not late for this event. I was not what you call a reluctant member of the board, but the director of player personnel for our hospital system is Delegate Barbara Frush. And I have difficulty saying no, especially to her, and wound up chairman of the board, which in the first month was really great. Someone gave me $600 million, or the promise of $600 million to build a new regional medical facility and become partners with the University of Maryland. And then the next month, or shortly thereafter, we get mentioned in the former county executive sentencing memorandum. And it's been a series of ups and downs since then, but we've done some significant house cleaning and merging, and we are the 4th largest healthcare system in the state. We will soon merge or partner with the University of Maryland medical system. That is scheduled to play out over the course of the next 5 years or so. The regional medical facility we talk about has to find a site yet. It will be a teaching facility, and the Laurel Regional Hospital will be a big part of it. As a matter of fact, the University of Maryland medical system is now taken over and now running our emergency room at Laurel, is now doing the same thing at Prince George's, and we'll be doing it at Bowie fairly soon, a little sooner than what we thought. But that is a good thing. We have an orthopedic group from the University of Maryland medical system who's now come with us, and this merger occurs in increments. The total system has 181,000 patient visits every year. At Laurel, there are 5,400 admissions and 5,100 surgeries every year. There are 699 employees, probably 700 is a better number this morning. I think we're doing well there. We're a large employer. We try very hard to be fair and even-handed about who we hire, and historically that had been an issue for us. Speaking of hiring, I'd like John Spearman to stand. Where are you, John? Stand up, please, if you would. The new president of Laurel Regional Hospital. John's number 700. As a matter of fact, John comes from the University of Maryland. Sooner or later, we're going to have Under Armour design our hospital smocks and gowns, I think. I have pushed this every way we can, and I think we're going in the right direction. Everybody's much more comfortable. It is a big system that's going to get better. And we want everyone to come to our hospital, not so much because it's close, but because we're good. And when you put those two things together, the future looks really bright for us. I can't begin to tell you how glad I am that we're moving in the direction that we are. I think schools are important. Healthcare is just as important. To have a good, viable, sustainable community, you need both. We're trying to hold up our end of that bargain. Thank you all.
Thank you. We look forward, and I happen to know John very well from my fire department experience. John is an excellent administrator, and I think he'll do great things at that hospital. And again, as I said, whatever happens at that hospital affects our community, and what the community does to support that hospital is very important. So again, thank you for coming as well, John. Thank you, Judge Nichols. Let me ask next Carl Brender. Carl's got numerous titles. He's our Economic Development Officer. He is the Director of Community Planning and Business Services. But Carl reaches out not only locally but regionally and follows a lot of things that are going on around the region. So I wanted Carl to come up and say a few words. You can do it from there. Hold on.
There was an article a few months ago that I think really typifies what's happening in Laurel today, and that's that the great thaw is finally happening. All the things that were stuck in the recession a few years back, we had a number of things in our pipeline that were approved, and the great thaw is on. Particularly the one thing that everybody told me that was ready to invest millions of dollars in the city is, I'm waiting for the mall announcement. Well, the mall announcement has now come and gone, and the calls have come in, so I'm very happy to say that we have a number of projects. Obviously, foremost in those is the center at Laurel, the town center at Laurel. I'll make sure I get that right. We've all waited forever for it, so everyone in this room belongs to the Society of Job for finally having that project start commencing. No one seems to have missed the parking deck at all, so I think we're in good shape there. So we're anxious. The council will be looking at that in the next month or so. We have a number of exciting projects in the Main Street area. This mayor and city council created an arts and entertainment district. There's a big investment by Klingbeil Capital Corporation in San Francisco to tear down old police department and build a multi-use project which is designed for artists, their lofts, and things like that. So that'll be the kickoff to the city's arts and entertainment district. And we now have two big projects. Again, they were held a lot during the recession. The foremost of those is one of my favorites is the transit-oriented development at Main Street. Again, rethawing again. We have new renderings. They'll be out to the public probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks of a large structure again to service the Laurel train station at Main Street and Route 1. Multi-use apartments, shops, and offices along there. So that's an exciting project as well. One of the earlier projects that's also hopefully close to quickly thawing is called Hawthorne Place, and that's a 1,000-unit project next to the bowling alley at Staggers Lane and Marshall Avenue as well. The first phase of that is also due. But the real success story is in the ability, and I credit the mayor and city council, we participate in a number of state incentives, and they really are helpful to the bottom line, to small businesses. These big projects are great, but at the end of the day, the city has a number of distinctions. The foremost is this is one of Maryland's first, I'll get it out, sustainable communities. It's also a designated BRAC zone in the state. It's governor's smart site and a governor's designated transit-oriented development zone. These things are not just titles. These things are linkages to state funding. We have sent probably about close to 10 different small businesses to meet with the Department of Housing and Community Development. There has a project called Neighborhood Business Works, and these people actually have money to help and assist small businesses. So I encourage you if you're interested in doing something, and of course, it goes without saying the mayor has a special initiative that you're aware of for businesses relocating to Main Street, facade assistance, sign assistance, et cetera, et cetera. So again, someone said it wasn't possible for me to say this in 4 minutes or less. So there's just a whole lot going on right now. We're in the middle of annexation to the south end. We'll probably get one of the city's, I can say this because I can't say the brand name, city's first mid-rise hotels along the interstate because we were annexing property across the street, but not in Conterra. We're not part of Conterra. This is a property of mixed use, new retail, the city's first gated apartment community. So there's just a lot happening, but the bottom line is just to show you that smart growth does work because the city is reinventing itself from inside, not from sprawling. Is that right now our pipeline has been restored and active projects now. We have a complete investment that generally involves around $500 million, not million, $1 billion in our pipeline. So all of which is taxable.
As he talks to you about business, as I looked over in the corner and I see Jim McSeeney, I thought of the Laurel Museum. Don't forget about the Laurel Museum that sits on Main Street. So we want to remind and give you a little commercial there, Jim. I thought it was important to get a perspective not only from what's happening in the city of Laurel locally, but also a regional approach. I asked two speakers. The first is Matthew Coates. Matthew is the chairman of the Laurel Board of Trade. He also owns a business on Main Street, and I know he has some words of wisdom for us. Matthew?
Thank you, Mayor, and esteemed guests. Main Street is a unique city. Town there itself, and Main Street there itself is a unique little area that a lot of folks think that it's been left behind, but I can tell you, every business that comes to Main Street does their very best to thrive on that street. And the most important thing that we all try to do as a networking is networking together and supporting one another and making sure that we're supporting one another. That is very important. Just like I got a phone call, I'd done some work with the hospital some years ago. They remembered. I was asked to call back to do some more portraits for the hospital. So that's going to keep us all in business. So we have to support one another. But I'm going to ask all my directors to please stand from the Board of Trade, because it's not just me. It's the directors that help me with ideas to keep Main Street thriving. Would you please stand, please, to be recognized? And Don, I'm so glad you're not going to a funeral today. All right. It's okay. So it's very important, just like right now we have going on as our farmers market. It is so important that we all go out and support our farmers, because the local foods that you're eating, it's great on Main Street right now. So if you get an opportunity, ride down Main Street today and take a look at the farmers market. Great produce from Pennsylvania all the way to the Maryland Eastern Shore that we have down there right now. So please stop by another local business. It's the main thing what we ask you to do is to shop local, okay? If we all spend at least $50 a month in some small business, you will keep that business in business. So it's very important. Just like I was talking to Bob earlier, I'm going to sit down. I said, Bob, years ago you said you did a lot of wedding invitations. He says, yes, he did. I said, well, I did a lot of weddings. But weddings right now, folks are not getting married. So if I'm not doing weddings, he's not doing invitations, okay? So that means the limo man is not getting the ride that he needs to take the bride to the reception hall. So everything is not peaches and cream, but I can tell you right now, we're surviving. We're doing what we're supposed to do to keep one another happy and supporting one another on Main Street. And helping with the mayor, meeting with him once a month in the city and supporting them, and letting Carl know that when a business has gone out of business, there's a vacant building on Main Street, that we're letting him know so we can try to put another business on Main Street there itself. So it's been successful, and we're going to continue to do what we're doing. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Just a couple things on Main Street. You know, part of what we're finding out about Main Street, as you heard, is a very diverse street. It's demand-driven, quite frankly. Part of the issue that we're having, where Main Street was the center of town, the town has shifted, so it's important to make sure that we continue to have citizens either in the walking of the area or driving. Part of the issue on Main Street when you drive is there's not a lot of places to park. We have a lot of churches there. There's several restaurants that always have talked about relocating. Well, when most restaurants want to have beer, alcohol at their establishments, the churches, that causes some issues because of the current laws. I think where the Board of Trade has really helped out is, as Matthew said, is of networking, communicating, and making sure that the people that want to come to Laurel understand the process they have to do. And that is, when you come to City Hall, it's a one-stop shop. You can get all your permits, you can get your approvals. As most know, the City of Laurel is the only one that in the county that has planning and zoning authority, so it's a little bit easier. As I said, it's a one-stop shop. You come here, you work with the local elected officials in the community, and it really does benefit us. But we have our challenges on Main Street, and the only way we're going to continue is work with the Board of Trade on doing things that they're doing like they're doing today. They're bringing people to the street because they've got the empty lot down there that is currently being used for the sale of goods and products. So it's we commend them for their hard work and like to continue working with them. Next, I'd like to ask Walt Townsend, who is President and CEO of the Chamber, to come forward and kind of give us a regional approach. Walt's again, very good friends of the city and always brings business our way, and we appreciate what he does as well as the Chamber of Commerce. So thank you for coming, Walt.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I want to thank you for the invitation, Mayor Moe, and I want to thank you, Senator Cardin, for your continued interest in business issues, particularly small business. Senator Cardin was gracious to recently invite me and another chamber exec to join on Capitol Hill with a number of other chamber execs and senators from across the country to talk about small business issues and to listen to what we had to say, and we're always grateful for that opportunity. Mayor Moe asked me to talk about the region and its relationship to Laurel. Obviously, we don't exist in a vacuum, so I could talk all day about this, but I just wanted to share a few brief points. We, Laurel and the Card, are at the center of America's fourth largest market area and arguably the most important nexus in the world with our proximity to Washington, D.C. And I always like to put into perspective, in relationship to Maryland, the corridor has 46% of the population, 45% of its jobs, 45% of its businesses, and 50% of the African-American population, 73% of the Latino Hispanic, and 72% of the Asian population. Our BWI airport is a $5.6 billion economic impact and 94,000 direct and induced jobs, and in June, BWI reported 2.19 million passengers, which is the busiest June and the second busiest month ever for BWI Marshall. This fabulous facility is critical to all of us and the businesses that are attracted to our region. We are also the epicenter of one of the fastest growing and most strategically important elements of the world today, and of course that's cyber. And with NSA, Cyber Command, DISA, and others are just 3 of the 95 plus tenant organizations at Fort Meade, which now has a total workday population of over 56,000 people, with contractors making up 26%, military 25%, and the balance being government civilians. And most people don't realize that Fort Meade is now the 3rd largest workforce of any Army installation in the United States, and that 3 of the 4 major military branches have their cyber commands located at Fort Meade or close by. But I want to share with you perhaps the biggest secret today. This is unknown to many, and another strategic element, not only for the physical security and welfare of the entire world, but that is that the corridor is the global epicenter for agricultural research and agricultural information. Yes, Beltsville Agricultural Research Center is the largest and most comprehensive agricultural research center in the United States and arguably in the world. And the National Agricultural Library is only one of 4 national libraries in America, developed at the direction of President Abraham Lincoln in Congress in 1862. So that means they're celebrating 150 years of providing these resources. So that building, the 14-story building you pass by on Route 1 is the largest agriculture library in the world, with 50 million physical items and over 2.5 million books. Its websites draw 21 million unique visitors annually, and they deliver more than 100 million direct customer transactions each year and collaborations with 60 universities across the country. For many of us, we want to go to the White House. For people across the world, they come to the White House, and the next place they want to see is Beltsville, because for them, agriculture is the key component of their country. Well, that's just the beginning. We could talk about NASA Goddard, FDA at White Oak, the Army Laboratory Center at Adelphi, the nation's oldest biological research facility, and the institution that brought America's national symbol, the bald eagle, back from near extinction. Of course, that's Patuxent Wildlife Research Center, the Applied Physics Lab, and all the incredible powerhouses in intellectual property that we have, and the tech transfer opportunities that we have through our colleges and universities. There is so much here. And of course, many transformative developments in National Harbor, Conterra, the $3 billion proposed Life-Sci Village proposed for 300 acres at White Oak, and of course the town center at Laurel by Greenberg Gibbons Commercial is aided tremendously by the dynamic and powerful growth that is occurring in our region. But with all these resources come phenomenal opportunities and challenges in transportation, infrastructure, all the rest. We are aware of it. And Things that even happen globally. The expansion of the Panama Canal means Panamax container ships can cut 3 to 4 days off the supply chain timeline by using ports on the eastern seaboard, and only 2 ports, Norfolk and Baltimore, can accommodate them. And will they remain competitive? Will Baltimore and its port remain competitive? And thus the need for the intermodal rail facility, which I know some would like to see in this area, but we need to have that facility in order for us to remain competitive. In closing, I will say I regret I can't talk more about the world's largest ice cream manufacturing facility right here in Laurel, Nestle Dryers. Bigger than 14 football fields and able to store enough milk to fill 10 Olympic-sized swimming pools. But I will tell you about several upcoming activities that we're having. On October 3rd, we'll host Donna Dotson, the Acting Executive Director of the National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence at NIST, for a morning interactive session entitled Cybersecurity, Facing the Challenges Together. And we will concentrate on the opportunities for businesses to engage with them to develop the best technologies for protection of utilities, health records, infrastructure, and more. And on October the 31st at Martin's Crosswinds, Mayor Davis, right there in Greenbelt, we will host our 21st annual Government Procurement Fair featuring more than 50 federal, state, and local government agencies, prime contractors, along with breakout sessions on cyber and one-on-one procurement counseling sessions. And then on November the 14th, we'll have the renowned regional economist Anirban Basu for our annual economic overview. And with an election just having taken place, it will be a fascinating look at our regional and global economy. And lastly, we're delighted that all fans of America's Got Talent will see the phenomenal and now internationally recognized sand artist Joe Castillo at our annual gala on Thursday, February the 21st. So, a lot going on. This is a wonderful region of which to be a part, and and it's always a pleasure to be here and with the City of Laurel and to work with the Mayor and City Council. So I thank you all for your time.
Walt will be here after the meeting to talk about regional stuff even more if you need to get more information. You know, it's important to know what's going on around us as well as what's happening here in the city. It all has to come together. That's where the local elected officials and everybody working together and talking. We may not always agree on things, but it's important for the entire community, for all of us to figure out ways to get new business, help business, and businesses to continue to grow. And we're going to continue to do that here in the city of Laurel. Senator, before I call you up, Don Hennion, you want to make a little presentation? Come on up. Oh, I thought he was leaving. Hold on for a second. He's coming up.
Normally, I would wear a coat, but my wife gave it to the Salvation Army. I've always had a
Can everybody hear Don?
Can you hear me?
Good. Never mind. I should have known you were in charge.
I've always collected political posters, and I was looking through the closet and I found one, and I knew today would be the day to do it. And I'd like to present to the senator a poster.
Very appropriate. I'll take it to Charlotte next week.
We don't like to talk politics here in city government, but we look forward to working with you the next 6 years. We have a little presentation we'd like to make to you as well. We use local businesses, I might add, to have this stuff done. Carl Brendel came to me and said, look, I got new bags. Where's Debbie? Thank you, Debbie. Thank you very much. Carl said, I like these new bags. And I said, yeah, they're okay, but I like this bag. This one says Shop Laurel. So we have a couple presentations and some things in the bag but the most important is I think Bob DePietro, when he was mayor, had this done as our city seal through Ted Metzger. And we've had the challenge coins done as well. It'll come out the box. I'm going to rip your box. But this is, we'd like to make this presentation to you. It's a city seal, and we're very proud of it, and we hope you'll place it somewhere in your office.
On my desk.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to step aside and ask our senator to make some comments, and then from there we're going to go visit some businesses.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor Moe. Buy local. Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been an incredible presentation. I really congratulate the mayor, the members of the council for what you've done here in Laurel. This is extremely optimistic future, I think, for Laurel, and you show a lot of energy and you show a lot of commitment to the growth. When I say buy local, I mean it. Our farmers have had a tough year, but I tell you, their products are great. Go to the market and help them out. It's interesting, there's some money around. People aren't spending it. We want you to spend it, and we want you to spend it local. Because we're going to come through this recession, and when we do, we need the businesses here in order for the economic growth that this nation needs. So I don't want to get too much on your patriotism today. Buy local. Get out there and spend some money, and spend some money buying local. It's really an honor to be here today and to listen to what's going on in Laurel. I'm extremely impressed by what I hear, what you're doing. I want to acknowledge you have two of, I think, the really great county execs in Janet Owens and Wayne Curry. Both managed their counties during very difficult times and planted, I think, the seeds that we are benefiting today. So it's nice to be with my colleagues that I've shared a lot over the years with, to Barbara Frosch, who does a great job. We have been together for a long time. Before I was in the Senate, I represented the district that came up into Laurel on the Anne Arundel County side, and Barbara and I worked together on some very challenging issues, and it's always good to be back with Barbara. Let me also, just if I might, comment about my priorities. I share these priorities with Senator Mikulski. We work together very closely as a team. Your congressional delegation in Prince George's County with Steny Hoyer and Donna Edwards. We work together closely on these issues. When I was elected to the United States Senate, I sought to get on several committees, and today I serve on the Senate Finance Committee, which is certainly very important for our tax code and Medicare and Social Security and Medicaid. I serve on the Environment and Public Works Committee, which chair the Water and Wildlife Subcommittee, which I can deal with one of my highest passions, and that is protecting the Chesapeake Bay for future generations. I can do that from that position. I serve on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and chair the International Development Assistance Subcommittee, and there I can work on trying to develop stability around the globe by U.S. influence in the developing world. I serve on the Budget Committee, which is for obvious reasons is an important committee. But I was told that I was the only freshman 6 years ago that requested to serve on a small business committee. I wanted to serve on the Small Business Committee because I knew how important that committee was to our future. It's great to have large companies. Nothing wrong with large companies. But the growth is going to happen in this country in job growth with smaller companies. Innovation starts with smaller companies. Then they'll merge with larger companies, and they use those ideas and develop them into the models that help our economy grow. But if you don't have a healthy environment for small businesses, you can't have an economy that's going to grow. So here in Laurel, you're taking steps to make sure your small businesses are healthy. And the mall project, great. We're going to go out today. We want to show our support for small businesses. We want to show our support. I can tell you things that we've done in Washington. I'm proud of what I've been able to do in developing new capital sources for small businesses and providing for surety bond relief so that small construction companies can fairly compete, and changing the procurement rules so that the small companies really do get their fair share, and more prime contractors rather than just subcontractors. These are things that we're doing to help small businesses. But we really do need to come together as a nation. Now, there's one more thing we need to do in Washington, and that is we need to get our budget in order. We need to give you all some predictability out there as to what the ground rules are going to be on our tax code and the federal budget, so you all can plan and our economy can take off. I want to acknowledge John Alexander, who represents you so well in Washington, and he could tell you, I think, along with what I'm saying, that it's tough to figure out the ground rules when they're continuously changing in Washington. We need to give some predictability to what's happening in Washington. And we need a credible plan to bring our budget back into some semblance of balance. It's got to be Democrats and Republicans working together. That's what we need to do. And I'm committed, and I know Senator Mikulski and your congressional delegation, to get us together. But we need to invest in allowing towns like Laurel to grow. And we need to invest in smart growth. We need to invest in transportation that helps our municipalities. We need to invest in the type of programs that will allow you to have the tools to be able to develop the future. Now, I really marvel, and Bob DiPietro, who I've been working with on local government issues from a long time when I was Speaker of the House in the Maryland General Assembly. We've been talking about these issues. We need to do this as a nation. We can't ignore the important investments in our community. So I'm here today to learn. I tell you this, Laurel's future depends not just on what you're doing from the point of view of trying to encourage businesses, but you also need to have the important infrastructures that will encourage people to live and work here. It's great to be located in an incredible center of so much activity. Cyber Command not too far away, all these federal facilities that we have, the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center, and we go right on down the line. It's great to be here, but you need to have a first-class hospital, and you're making sure you're going to have that in the future. We spent a lot of time with Dimensions as to what's going to ultimately be the solution here. You knew that you had a quality facility, but it didn't have the structure to be able to survive in the new competitive environments in the hospital arena. Your relationship with the University of Maryland Medical Center makes great sense. We've been all working for that for a long time. You now have the right partner for your future, for your hospital. The mall, I know it took a long time, Mayor Mo, but it was well worth it. You're now going to have the type of center, town center, that's befitting a great town like Laurel. So I just really want to come by again to tell you that I'm here from Washington. I'm here to help you. But I really want to be your partner, as we've done in the past, and figure out how we can partner on your strategy for how you see Laurel's future. And I think together we can work together to have a very bright future. I'm very encouraged by the presentations I've heard today. I'm very encouraged by the people that you've brought together. And I'm very encouraged with your local leadership here. Congratulations. Look forward to seeing the facilities.
Senator, as we always say at the local level, just send the money to us and we'll take care of the rest. Lindsay, why don't you come on up? Lindsay's the executive director of the museum, and they'd like to make a little presentation to you as well, Senator. And you can say some words about the museum.
Oh, okay. Hi, we were invited today because we're also on Main Street. We're down at the end by the swimming pool. I think most of you know where we are. And we are a very small local museum. And I want to make this very brief, but we brought a present. And I think we have many fans here of Laurel's Christmas tree. This is a very well-known tree and beloved in the town, so we brought you an ornament.
Thank you so much. That's very
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. And as you heard where it's located, they're a small local business too. So you can buy your, when's the next one coming out? November, so look for the new ornament coming out in November. We're going to kind of adjourn from here, let everybody mingle a little bit, talk to the senator if they'd like. I think we got a few minutes, and then we're going to load on to the bus. Janet, I think you're going to, maybe I'll take you by surprise, talk about our bus system on our way to our first stop. The local bus system is very important to this community. Yeah, she's not driving. I'll drive before you. You can talk. So we're going to visit a couple sites on Main Street. We're going to learn about, in one business, how the internet really doesn't help. It can be, it does have some negative effects on some business as well. So, and then we're going to end up over at the new town center, which I might add is small business as well, although it's just a big outfit over there, the big stores, and there'll be a lot of smaller businesses as well. So with that said, thank you all very much for coming. There's plenty of food in the back room. Please take some more with you. And you can sit at the tables for as long as you like, but take the opportunity to see the center. And Senator, thank you again for being here. Thank you all very much for coming.